round. Welcome to Iona College's NFL Roundtable. I'm your host, Amanda Boyle, and alongside me, Kenny Reischmann and John Stanko. Let's get right into Week 6 and talk about Thursday night's game about the New York Jets, the Giants, and the Bears.
Well,
talk about that?
I wish it was the Jets, but the Giants continue to play incredibly terrible football. 0-6 for the first time since 1976, John. Eli Manning, another rough game last night. First two possessions were horrible. It was like watching a horror movie. I know we're close to Halloween, but too soon, Eli. Another 3 picks last night. He's up to 15 on the season. Last season, through 8 weeks, he only had 8 picks. 6 weeks in this year, 15.
Yeah, it's rough. I mean, the sad thing is, we said Eli would improve if he had a running game. Brandon Jacobs ran for 106 yards, and they still couldn't do anything. And then you also got to look at the Chicago Bears, though. Jay Cutler, after Alshon Jeffrey was the #1 target last week, went back to Brandon Marshall, had 11 targets, 9 receptions, 2 touchdowns, 87 yards. Bing, bang, boom. Brandon Marshall, Jay Cutler back on track.
Yeah, if Jay Cutler and Brandon Marshall are going to keep playing like that every week, the Bears are going to be a good team.
And Matt Forte didn't even have a good game, and they still dominated the Giants. Exactly.
Well, moving forward to headlines this week, we've got a lot of press with Adrian Wilson. Ken, you want to talk about Adrian Wilson's?
It's an unfortunate situation with Adrian Peterson. His son, unfortunately, was beaten. His 2-year-old son was beaten by his wife's boyfriend, and the fact that that man was allowed near the son in the first place is a crime in and of itself, and she should be ashamed of herself for putting her son in that position. Adrian Peterson says he's going to play on Sunday. God bless him. He says, I have the quote here, football helps me relieve stress.
Exactly.
And that's good for him. But again, I'm sure I speak for us all when we say, our prayers are with him and the son, and hopefully everything gets better soon. But it's really just very unfortunate. It's tragic. And, we hope everything gets better.
Exactly. I mean, he asked for privacy. I think we should give it to him. And on Sunday, no questions about his son. It should be strictly football because his mind's going to be all over the place. You just hope that he has some sort of mindset heading into the game. He's going to play for his son. I think that's obvious to everyone.
Speaking of someone with their mind all over the place, let's talk about Matt Schwab. What do you think about this, John?
Matt Schwab. Let's just start. 4 straight games with a pick 6.
It's a weird sound.
Awful. Over the past 3 games, the Texans are 0-3, and Matt Schwab has an average QBR of 25.2. He has 2 touchdowns and 6 interceptions. That's awful.
Yeah.
With the talent around him is absolutely terrible. Now, head coach Gary Kubiak said he's going to stay with him, but it's a tough decision to keep him as a starter because you have TJ Yates backing him up. He's a solid quarterback. He won a playoff game for you last year. I would bench Matt Schwab. I really would. But that being said, it's against the Rams this week, so it's 50-50.
Yeah, maybe it's a good week for him to get back into the swing of things. But, like you said, TJ Yates won a playoff game. It's time to go to the bench. Enough is enough.
Yeah.
You can't keep running the same guy out there every week if he's not going to put up results. And you see the same thing with Eli Manning. Maybe it's time to give him a week.
There's no way they're going to set a 2-time Super Bowl winning quarterback. But I think that the time's going to come. I think the locker room has lost faith in Matt Schwab. I don't think you have Andre Johnson, one of the best wide receivers, and Arian Foster at running back, and they haven't had the seasons that they're capable of because of Matt Schwab keeping them back. He's a handicap for that offense.
Yeah, just touch on the Eli thing. And sometimes you need to shake things up. And sometimes you need to make a bold move.
Who's the backup quarterback for the Giants?
I don't know, and I don't care.
It's like Curtis Painter, isn't it?
I don't know. I didn't know.
I really think it's Curtis Painter, former backup for the
Colts. But the thing is, you need to
Colts.
shake some things up.
Yeah.
You need to do something in New York and in Houston. Enough is enough. You can't keep running the same guys out there every week and getting these results, or else you're going to end up 0-16.
That's true.
You got to make a move.
What do we think about the Seattle Seahawks and the Indianapolis Colts?
Well,
best teams in the league. What are you thinking?
Well, I said a few weeks ago, and John, you can, bow over there. I don't think the camera will get you. But I said that after the Colts acquired Trent Richardson, things would look up in Indianapolis. They made playoffs last year. Andrew Luck is a really good quarterback, and now he's got options, and the team is utilizing those options. Bradshaw goes down with an injury. A few weeks after Richardson's acquired, and everybody thinks, okay, now Trent Richardson's got to carry the load again. Can he do it? Can he do it without the dynamic duo of him and Bradshaw? Yes, and he's proven that he can. And Andrew Luck is utilizing his options downfield. He's throwing the ball well. He's not putting up phenomenal stats, but they're playing a team game. And over the last 3 weeks, they've given up 38 points in 3 games. That is a defense that has been phenomenal. Over the last 3 games, like I said, 7 3 weeks ago, 3 2 weeks ago, and then 28 last week. That was an offensive showdown between the Colts and the Seahawks, who nobody can stop anyway. And their schedule moving forward is light against 500 teams the rest of the way through for the next 4 or 5 weeks. The Broncos in 2 weeks, that's going to be the game you look forward to. That's going to be the game that decides if the Colts can hang in. I don't know if I expect them to win it. The Broncos are still my Super Bowl pick. But if the Colts can hang in that game and play with the Broncos and stick with Eli Manning, much like the Cowboys did, Peyton Manning, and stick with the Broncos, much like the Cowboys did, that'll be a team that you should look forward to.
I mean, you bought into their Kool-Aid much faster than I did. I'm
I
going to give you
love their
full
Kool-Aid.
credit on that.
Grapey Kool-Aid.
I did say a couple weeks ago, I think they were the favorite to win the AFC South, and I think right now it's without a doubt. With the way the Texans are playing, and I think T.Y. Hilton, the emergence of him at wide receiver outside of Reggie Wayne, I think now Andrew Luck has faith in both those receivers. Exactly. Andrew Luck is not a quarterback who's going to offer flashy statistics. They're going to come with time as he plays more and more, but he's going to start to accumulate wins. And I think you're going to see, if there was any question as to who's going to be the best quarterback out of last year's class, I think it's all being answered right now.
Oh, yeah.
And Skip Bayless still says that RG3, because he's played 4 preseason games, because it was his first game of the season.
I don't care.
I'm sorry. No, it doesn't matter. Andrew Luck is better than RG3.
Well, I don't know about your thoughts, but Julio Jones is now out for the season. Where do you think this leaves the Atlanta Falcons, John?
I think it leaves them in a lot of trouble. I think the Saints start counting on the magic number to win the NFC South. Tony Gonzalez, I don't know if he can be angry. I think he can be disappointed with what's going on. He's had a great year, but I think Matt Ryan hasn't come through in the clutch moments. I don't think Matty Ice is an appropriate title anymore.
No, it's Matty Freakout.
Matty Freakout.
That's a nice sounding nickname, but that's what you have to go with.
And I think it's disappointing because Roddy White's not healthy either. And I think that Steven Jackson hasn't been in the past 3 weeks. The Falcons' offense is really struggling, and their defense has not played as up to par as they have in past seasons. I think it's really spelling trouble right now. They're actually in 3rd in the NFC South right now. Panthers technically are ahead of them.
Yeah, I mean they're 1-4 now, and their season was pretty much over before this news, and their season is now over after this news. I mean, there's no way of getting around it. If you don't have options offensively, your defense got to pick up the slack, and their defense stinks.
Yeah.
It's real bad right now. They're allowing an average of 26.8 points per game, and only 6 teams in the National Football League are averaging over 27 points a game offensively, and the Falcons are not one of them.
Pulling out the stats today, Kenny Reischmann.
Somebody did his homework, I was about to say. Speaking of someone doing their homework, Kenny currently leads with predictions records. We've got 52 to 25 overall. Last week in week 5, he went 9-5. John, however, they also went 9-5, but John, you are falling overall.
Yeah, you got to keep pace with the
49-28. So, Kenny, how are you feeling about your overall record?
I feel good, man.
I
feel real good. My Colts, I keep picking them.
You do.
I keep picking them. Picked them last week over the Seahawks. Picked them against the Niners. Those are, those wins. They pile up.
Now, are you watching these games? Are you watching them?
What do you mean am I watching?
You got to be there.
I watch Red Zone.
Good, yeah. You're cheating.
Get the whole package.
All right, so let's talk about this week's big games. We've got the Green Bay Packers versus the Baltimore Ravens. John, what's your pick on this one?
This is a tough pick for me, but I'm going to have to go with the Green Bay Packers. Clay Matthews, the loss at linebacker is going to be tough, but they are going to get Morgan Burnett back at safety. And I think as long as they keep Aaron Rodgers upright, I think they're going to force the Ravens to have to throw the ball to keep up with them. And Joe Flacco threw 5 interceptions 2 weeks ago against Buffalo. He has more interceptions than touchdowns this year. He's not playing well.
You don't think he's going to bounce back?
I don't think he's going to bounce back. And they're 24-3 when Ray Rice touches the ball 20 or more times. If they're behind in the game, they can't afford to hand him the ball off. And I think if the Packers get up early, they go on to win this game. It'll be tight because it's in Baltimore. Either way it can go, but I have way more faith in Aaron Rodgers and their offense than the Baltimore offense.
I as well have way more faith in Aaron Rodgers than in Joe Flacco, but I'm going to pick the Ravens.
Really?
So pick up a game on that prediction thing.
The loss of Clay Matthews is going to play a huge role, and the way Terrell Suggs has been playing recently is
true.
It's off the charts. He's been phenomenal. And I think the loss of Clay Matthews is going to hurt. I think Ray Rice is going to have some touches, and I think he's going to be able to utilize that absence and make some space for himself and Joe Flacco in the long run.
All right. Moving on, we've got the Washington Redskins playing the Dallas Cowboys. Ken, let's go with you on this one.
The NFC East is who is the least bad, and right now the Cowboys are the least bad. I mean, they played well against the Broncos. Don't get me wrong; they still lost, and that's all that matters. It goes in the loss column. The Cowboys are going to win this game. I don't think it's going to be much of a competition at all. They're offensively talented. Their defense played well. I mean, I don't know how many defenses are able to shut down the Bronco offense. It's around 0, I think. I think they'll beat the Redskins. I don't think it's big. I don't think it's a big deal at all.
I think there's going to be a ton of offense in this game. The first one to 35 wins. The Redskins have the 28th ranked passing defense, and Tony Romo can throw for 506 yards against Denver, and their pass rush and their secondary. I think that he can really torch up Washington. With that being said, the Cowboys, they're not a great defensive team either, as we saw. So RG3 might have some open space to work with and to get some points. But in the long run, I think Tony Romo showed that he's playing at an exceptionally high level, even though his late interception. He's playing possibly his best football of his career this season overall. 13 touchdowns, I believe, 2 interceptions so far this year. I got to go with the Cowboys.
He's looking good, that's for sure. Moving forward, we've got the Saints versus the New England Patriots. John, take this one.
This is a tough one, but I think the Saints are going to win this game.
Hey, I'm happy that you're using the brain.
It's just tough. Dr. James Andrews said Rob Gronkowski's not cleared to play yet, and I think that's a huge loss for the Patriots. Now, Stephen Ridley is going to come back possibly. This is questionable, but they're optimistic that he might play. The thing is that the Patriots are going to need to run the ball to win, and they need Stephen Ridley to play. The Saints do allow a lot of rushing yards per game, but they only allow roughly 228 passing yards per game. So if the Patriots can run the ball and have a balanced offense, they have a chance of winning. But if Stephen Ridley's not healthy all the way, and if Rob Gronkowski's out, it's going to be tough for the Patriots. And also, how do you stop Jimmy Graham? If someone can tell me that, you can't.
You don't.
So it's going to be tough.
You don't stop him. You let him score, and then you get the ball back and try and score yourself. But that also does not happen against the Saints, who are 4th in the league in points per game allowed at 14.6 average. Again, more homework I've done. But their offense is also off the charts. 9th best in the league, somewhere around 27 points per game.
Yeah.
Their defense is real good, John. And
I know.
The Patriots' offense has not been real good. And against a defense as good as the Saints, who does not allow you to, jam the ball into the end zone, doesn't allow you to throw the ball into the end zone, it's going to be a struggle for Brady if Gronkowski doesn't play, and it does not look likely that he will.
Also, Drew Brees is 3-0 in his career against the Patriots, twice with San Diego beating them, and then once with New Orleans. So, I mean, can the Patriots pull it out? Yes, just because it's Tom Brady.
Of course.
You can't ever count Tom Brady
Gillette
out.
Field, I believe.
I believe, it's in Foxborough. But I'm going to have to go with the Saints.
Yeah, me too.
Alrighty, let's go on to our rapid fire round.
I'm ready.
We've got the Bengals versus the Bills.
Bengals.
All right, a lot of agreement so far. Got the Detroit Lions versus Cleveland Browns.
I'm going to go with Cleveland. No, excuse me, Detroit.
Whoa.
Detroit.
We got your hopes up there a little.
I think play Cleveland.
Cleveland? Okay.
Cleveland's been good. Cleveland's been good after getting rid of, after the trade of Richardson. I think they're still at 3-0 since that trade. So, moving on.
Riding the hot horse.
Riding the hot horse.
We got the Oakland Raiders versus the Kansas City Chiefs.
And the Lions struggled last week. Just want to point that out. What was that?
He's going Chiefs. Who are you going for?
Chiefs for I don't remember what this is.
Chiefs versus the Raiders.
Chiefs.
Chiefs. All right. We've got the Carolina Panthers versus the Minnesota Vikings.
Adrian Peterson's going to play for his son. You can't pick against them in this game. Yeah.
I like it. We got the Pittsburgh Steelers versus the New York Jets.
Oh God.
You go.
What a terrible game.
That's not a good game.
I pick the Steelers. I think it's time for Gino to cool off again. He's been very inconsistent the way he plays, and it was hot week last week, cold week.
I also think Dick LeBeau, famous defense coordinator for the Steelers, I think he might confuse Geno Smith more than any other defense coordinator has so far this year.
I like it. I can see that. We got the Philadelphia Eagles versus the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Bucks.
You're going with the Bucks.
I'm going with the Bucks. I think they keep it up what they did last week.
I'm going to have to go with the Eagles. I think their offense was on fire last week, and I think it showed. I don't think
Vic's 100%, and I think that's going to show.
I still think Nick Foles is a quality enough quarterback if he plays to get the win for the Eagles, because he's just going to hand it off to LaShawn McCoy, and good luck stopping him.
All right, I'm picking the Bucks.
Got the St. Louis Rams and the Houston Texans. Ken?
Texans.
Texans' defense is still good, while their offense is bad. Their defense is still good.
So the defense is making up for the offense.
Yes.
Of course.
As always, defense wins champions.
The Jacksonville Jaguars and the Denver Broncos. How do you think the
is
beer
this a
thing's
normal
going, by the
game,
way?
or is this by like 40 points, or like I mean obviously Broncos.
Yeah, Broncos. Though the question is, Broncos giving up 28 points. Do you take the points if you're Jacksonville?
It again depends on how much money I'm betting.
Give me points for this game.
I mean I say the Broncos win. A safe bet is by 20, 21.
I think they'll cover the spread. I think Broncos' second team is still better than Jacksonville's first team.
You're right, but I mean I'm just trying to give them a little.
Cheer the Jacksonville fans up. They need it.
All right, we got the Tennessee Titans versus the Seattle Seahawks.
Hawks.
It's in CenturyLink Field. Seahawks don't lose at home.
The loudest field I've heard, too, which is crazy.
12th man.
We've got the Arizona Cardinals versus San Francisco 49ers.
Niners.
Cardinals are a sneaky 3-2, but they're not that good.
They're going to finish at 8-8.
Yeah,
they're going to finish at 8-8 this year.
And
All
Carson Palmer struggling. 5 touchdowns, 9 interceptions on the year. That's not what you expect. When
And
you sign him in the
Niners are back
offseason.
to normal.
Their defense was, yeah.
The defense, Kaepernick's playing great. Niners.
He's got a lot of press too lately.
Colin
Got the Indianapolis Colts, Kenny's team, of course, and San Diego Chargers. Ken, are you going Go Colts?
Go Colts.
Go Colts.
I'm going with Kenny in this one. Go Colts as
Really?
well. Go Colts.
Are we doing bold predictions?
We are
Because
doing
I got a
predictions.
nice one.
Moving forward to bold predictions, what's yours?
Bold prediction: Colts win the next 5 straight.
Colts win the next 5 straight.
Wow.
You're moving forward.
I'm
Mark
I'm
it down.
drinking
Mark it down.
the Kool-Aid,
Drinking
sir.
all the Kool-Aid.
writing it down.
Please do.
Bold prediction for John.
In the Patriots-Saints game, neither quarterback throws for over 250 yards.
Oh,
Neither
wow.
So you're seeing a lot
neither
of
You're
quarterback
telling me
does.
Drew Brees and Tom Brady are going to throw for under 250 yards?
Yep,
That's
they're
a
both
bold
going to throw for
prediction.
under
That is
250
bold.
yards.
I mean, some say bold, others
I mean,
say silly,
they're-
but
Hey, listen, both
Hey, I
teams
mean,
allow
listen.
roughly only 228 passing yards per game.
you know what you're doing out here.
So I'm just saying, both quarterbacks. I mean, they're gonna. I don't expect a lot of turnovers. I
you know
just
what
expect a lot of running the ball.
Do you know what a bell curve is, sir?
Ooh.
An average lands in the middle. You
We'll
know,
see how
there's
the
some
picks
high
go.
ones, there's some
We'll
low.
see how the
We'll
picks
see
turn
how
out
the
this
picks go.
week.
We will see how the picks go. We hopefully, John, you'll come up with your predictions for the week. Looking forward to next week, week 7.
Ooh,
He's only down 3. He's coming up on it.
it's a long season.
It is a long
Hostile
season.
in here.
Until next week with week 7, NFL Roundtable from Iona College. Thanks, guys.